Nick, firstly, to sign with the Australian Sevens, exciting new challenge.
Yeah, no, pumped. I didn't think I'd be here. So to be able to extend, my career in Australia is really exciting for me on a personal level. And then challenge-wise, hell of a challenge to play, such a different form of the game, but still on home soil and with an exciting year ahead. Fantastic.
Did you ever imagine you'd be playing for the Australian Sevens?
No, I never imagined I'd be playing for Aussie Sevens. There was opportunity when I was young. I hadn't really settled with a Super Rugby team way back in 2010, 2011. That never eventuated. And from then, it's just, the focus has been purely on 15s. But this opportunity's come up and, kind of jumped at it.
What attracted you to playing Sevens?
The challenge. I think played a lot of 15s now. So the idea of shifting gears is kind of more motivating to do something different. I think just for me personally in my career, it's pretty exciting. I think I was really sort of excited when I came in and saw what the guys are doing, the year they have ahead and what some of the body of work they put in up until this point. It's an exciting environment to be around. The team's much smaller, skill, you get to do all the best things about footy aside from the lungs sort of hurting a bit more. It's, you're passing the footy, running the ball, the contest, everything's a contest all the time. So, the game's really attractive in that sense.
And what were the discussions like with John Meady and Scott Bowen around your decision to move over?
I think largely when speaking to John and Scott, it was around, is it possible to be done? I'm 32 years old, got a few Ks under the belt. How would they see me fitting into the environment, I guess, was going to be the challenge. And then how could I, have impact in the field? I know it is a different game. There's different skill set, aerobic ability, all those type of things, which is going to take some time to shift. So, getting an understanding of where I can fit in this team, which is already, got some really, really great players.
How big of a carrot is the Olympic Games in France next year?
The Olympics is obviously huge. Paris. It's something that I never thought I'd be part of. So to kind of have that as an endpoint for I guess this season is huge. But I'm coming in as an absolute rookie in this world. So the wool's going to be pulled over the eyes pretty quick in terms of what it takes. I'm seeing glimpses of that, but to be able to do it and perform, often and frequently at that level is going to be a really hard challenge. So, but that's part of the excitement of it.
You mentioned you're a bit of a novice. Have you played or watched much Sevens before?
I've only played one tournament for Manly in Kiama. So that was 2009, I think, with my brother and a couple of mates there. So some time ago. I'm going to have to get my head around the game. So there's not only the physical aspect, which, is going to take some working, but certainly the game sense, the game understanding, and the guys in here are already, giving me little tips and pointers, but I'm going to need to lean on them a fair bit to get upskilled.
Yeah, and what do you think the biggest challenges will be in that transition from 15s to 7s?
It's a different game, so understanding, the nuances of 7s and what's required, and then obviously the physical demands. So I guess the benefit of not having to carry as much bulk is going to be good. You're not playing 130, 150 kilo blokes week in, week out, but you're playing guys that can run 10 metres a second, So you've got, I guess, changing my body sort of to fit into that mould.
How are you already starting to prepare for that sort of shift? You just mentioned the changes to the body.
Yeah, so I'm starting in Jan, full-time with the squad, but, starting to, want to get on top of the ground. So, you don't have to play for 80 minutes. Games are 14 or 20 minutes. So, condensed game, but the level of a different, sort of energy source, different sort of, requirement on you physically to, be hitting your top speed and hitting it regularly, but for shorter bursts. So, I guess it's going to be gradual. As an athlete, you want things to happen, quite immediately. And, so I guess, understanding that this change is going to take time and being cool with that.
What have some of your former teammates said when they heard you were making the shift over?
A good friend of mine who actually spent some time in here as a coach, he said you're no longer a rugby player, an athlete. So, I think what he means by that, or I interpret it as, is like your focus is much more on what you can get out of your body. Rugby you can get away with a fair, well 15s you can get away with a fair bit, but sevens you can't get away with much. I think, speaking to the S&Cs and here, it's little niggles will show up more in sevens. So at 32 there's a few niggles, so I've got to try and iron that out.
First sevens on Australia Day weekend could be your first tournament. How special would it be to make your sevens debut on home soil?
Oh, look, that's the first one I could be a part of, but I'm sure that it's going to be pretty tricky. That would have been 3 weeks in the saddle in here to get that all sorted. So, look, just hopeful to make my debut somewhere along the line when I'm ready, when I can fit into this team. How I fit into this team, confident and comfortable to be able to add well is the key. Wherever that fits in the year, so be it.
You may not have been on the track with the boys yet, but is there anyone that sort of stands out at the moment? You call your eye?
Oh, all of them. All of them. So, I have done a couple of sessions in here now, just the athletic ability and the skills, sort of like, just of all the players. It's really, I've thrown a handful of scrum half passes in my life. Now I threw more in one training session than I did probably in my career there. So, and all of these guys are doing that. So you've got to be really classy at very multi-skilled, but under high pressure you don't get many chances in that tournament style. So there's standouts all over.